videos for entertainment purposes only. In the digital age, we were promised an open forum, a place where ideas could be exchanged freely, but somewhere along the way that changed. Social media has become a battleground, not for debate but for control, and if you dare to question the government, challenge liberal narratives, or even discuss so-called conspiracy theories, you'll find yourself shadow banned, demonetized, or outright removed. Meanwhile, liberals can say whatever they want without consequence. The double standard? Let's talk about the hypocrisy here. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz recently said he'd kick Trump supporters' ASSs. I gotta spell it out, otherwise the video will get taken down. No censorship, no consequences, and no media outrage. Imagine if a Republican said that about a Democrat. They'd be banned in an instant. The liberal elite can call for violence, push divisive narratives, and even spread outright lies, and big tech will boost their content. But if you or I dare to expose government corruption, challenge election results, or criticize the progressive agenda, we're shut down immediately. Why? Because it's not about misinformation, it's about power. I'm not a Republican, I'm for accountability. Let's get this straight. I've never been a Republican, I'm not loyal to any party, and I sure as hell don't worship any politician. If someone isn't doing exactly what they were elected to do, they don't deserve our support. Here's the problem. If you criticize the government, expose liberal hypocrisy, or challenge the globalist agenda, you're labeled a threat to democracy and silenced. Meanwhile, the left can push whatever narrative they want unchecked. Who benefits from this? Big tech, the media, and the government are working together to control public perception. They don't care about the truth, they care about control. They decide what's real and what's fake. They tell you what you're allowed to say, think, and believe, and they're terrified of an independent thinker who sees through their lies. This sets a dangerous precedent. If they can censor political dissent, what's stopping them from controlling every aspect of the conversation? The internet was meant to be the new town square, but now it's just another tool for silencing opposition. If we accept this as normal, we've already lost. What can you do? The first step is awareness. The second is resistance. Use alternative platforms, spread information offline, and never stop questioning the official narrative. The moment we bow to their censorship, free speech is dead. What if the next time it's your group? What if it's something you believe in? What if it's something you think and you're not allowed to speak freely? This doesn't always go one way, it goes both ways. It's opening a Pandora's box that we don't want to open. This isn't about left versus right, this is about control versus freedom. The war on free speech is here, and they're coming for anyone who refuses to fall in line. Stay sharp, stay vocal, and stay free, and remember, there's a fine line between naive and nut job in the world of conspiracies. Let's walk that line together.
Hey everyone, I want to talk about something important today, because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote non-stop about how misinformation was
COVID was the other big one. Beginning it was, it's like a legitimate public health crisis, in the beginning. And it's, even people who are like the most ardent First Amendment, defenders, the Supreme Court has this clear precedent. It's like, all right, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. There are times when if there's an emergency, your ability to speak can temporarily be curtailed in order to get an emergency under control. So I was sympathetic to that at the beginning of COVID. It seemed like, okay, you have this virus. It seems like it's killing a lot of people. I don't know, we didn't know at the time how dangerous it was going to be. So at the beginning, it kind of seemed like, okay, we should give a little bit of deference to the government and the health authorities on how we should play this. But when it went from, 2 weeks to flatten the curve to, and like in the beginning, it was like, okay, there aren't enough masks aren't that important. To then it's like, oh no, you have to wear a mask. And, everything was shifting around. It just became very difficult to kind of follow. And this really hit the most extreme, I'd say, during the Biden administration when they were trying to roll out the vaccine program. And now, I'm generally pretty pro rolling out vaccines. I think on balance, the vaccines are more positive than negative. But I think that while they're trying to push that program, they also tried to censor anyone who was basically arguing against it. And they pushed us super hard to take down things that were honestly true, right? I mean, they basically pushed us and said, anything that says that vaccines might have side effects, you basically need to take down. And I was just like, well, we're not going to do that. We're clearly not going to do that. I mean, that is kind of inarguably true.
Who is they? Who's telling you to take down things that that talk about vaccine side effects?
It was people in the Biden administration. I think it was, I wasn't involved in those conversations directly, but I think it was.
How difficult is that to not be involved in those conversations directly? That's got to be strange too, right? Because you're running the company, but there's clearly you're moderating at scale that's beyond the imagination.
These people from the Biden administration would call up our team and scream at them and curse, and it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails. the emails are published. It's all kind of out there, and they're like, and basically it just got to this point where we were like, no, we're not gonna take down things that are true. That's ridiculous. They wanted us to take down this meme of Leonardo DiCaprio looking at a TV talking about how 10 years from now or something, you're going to see an ad that says, okay, if you took a COVID vaccine, you're eligible for, for this kind of payment, this sort of class action lawsuit type meme. And they're like, no, you have to take that down. And we just said, no, we're not going to take down humor and satire. We're not going to take down things that are true. And then at some point, I don't know, it flipped a bit. I mean, Biden, when he gave some statement at some point, I don't know if it was a press conference or to some journalists, where he basically was like, these guys are killing people. And I don't know, then all these different agencies and branches of government basically just started investigating, coming after our company. It was brutal.
At the end of the day, I'm glad Mark Zuckerberg decided to stop censoring people, especially those who don't agree with the liberal sentiment. However, I don't think his hand was forced quite as much as he's pretending like it does, and body language speaks volumes. Every time he was trying to make a point or comment on the fact that he did censor political adversaries to the Liberal Party, he would look around, look up to the right, look up to the left, and he was trying to search for the answer. At the end of the day, body language, what he's doing with his eyes speaks volumes to me. The eyes are the link to the soul, and you can watch his body language and realize he's not telling 100% the truth to what he did. Did he knowingly partake in silencing one side, or anybody who disagreed with liberals and anybody who disagreed with COVID and the COVID vaccine? Yeah, I think he willingly did that to better his company and better his place in society, better his own pocketbook. Has he since then decided that was wrong? Maybe. Or is he just playing sides to whoever is the political official at this time, and he's going to go right back to the way it was before as soon as it's not somebody like Trump? I don't care if you love Trump or hate Trump, it really doesn't matter to me. One way or the other, there is a Pandora's box that's being opened, and I spoke on this already, but there's a Pandora's box that's being opened by limiting free speech. And I don't care if we disagree, I don't care if I like what you have to say, you have the right to say it. If you're extreme liberal and you think we should be a communist nation, and you know what, I disagree with you. However, you have the right to feel that way. You have the right to say those things. and you have the right to vote for it. And until, as long as we're a free nation, you will always have that right. What happens when it's not my side, or when it's not the Republican side? I'm not a Republican. I actually don't like that side either. I'm not for either prominent partisan party. However, with that being said, what happens when it's not their side and it's your side? What happens when there's some crazy guy that gets elected in office, and maybe we're going through it right now? I don't know. I don't know how you feel, and I don't know how you see things in current events. However, what happens when it's your side that's silenced? What happens when social media and mainstream media and everybody is paid off to make sure you don't have a voice? You get where I'm going with this? Like, that's not a Pandora's box we want to open. Not for the right, not for the left, not for anybody. And I'm always going to find myself aligned with neither side, because at this point I've come to find that both sides can be corrupted. They can be bought off, they can be scared, they can be corrupted in some way, shape, or form. As long as that's happening, then we shouldn't choose sides. We should just be Americans. We should come together, meet in the middle, have a voice, and keep them in check, because ultimately they work for us. We've forgotten that a long time ago, probably before I was born. I decided to do this video because I'm getting constantly banned from TikTok. Every other video I try to upload is getting banned off TikTok. And it's funny because I tried to search for TikTok censorship, and I can't really find as many videos as I can on Facebook and Instagram and other platforms. I'm glad Zuckerberg decided to stop censoring people. However, nobody should be censored at any point. This sets a dangerous precedent. The videos that I'm getting banned are conspiracy theories. What does it matter? If I'm not relevant, or if it's illogical, if I'm a tinfoil hat wearing crazy conspiracy theorist, then what does it matter? What does it matter if what I'm saying is not true? I say at the beginning of every video, this video is for entertainment purposes only, TikTok. What does it matter if it's not true? If I'm just doing this to entertain, if I'm throwing out a theory that I found online and think it was interesting, because to be honest with you, a lot of the videos I do, I'm trying to debunk what I find to be irrelevant or not true. I'm trying to debunk conspiracy theories. Now, for the ones that I just can't debunk, that I find to be true, I'm not going to censor myself, and I'm not going to allow somebody to censor me. If they want to kick me off TikTok, I started this like 3 weeks ago, I really don't care. I'll build up Instagram, I'll build up X, and I'll start my own website at some point, but if it gets big enough. But hey, don't let them censor you. If TikTok continues to go down this dark path of censorship for us having free speech, the freedom to say anything we want to say, then stop using TikTok. It's too easy. And if they ban me, they're probably going to kick me off of this video. Too easy.